So, what has all this achieved? Since the MyTree project inception in 2020, approximately 900 students have been involved from 8 Western schools, and they have sown seeds and planted around 5,000 tree and 3,000 understory seedlings. They've planted in their schools, homes and community in the devegetated western suburbs, including the Rosewater Loop, and also for the Fort Tree project, a rewilding project in Karakanga. There's a wonderful documentary showing the MyTree project in action that has been made by filmmaker Rob Denton of UTEL Videos that you'll see at the end. Plans are to develop a dedicated website that will be a record and reference for other schools and organisations who might want to implement the MyTree project. It is such a great pleasure and privilege to be part of the project and share the children's fun, their excitement of discovery, creativity and sharing. There's so much sharing with each other. We are so grateful to the students and school communities of Pennington Primary and Woodville High School that have embraced the project so enthusiastically. In particular, Natalia, Xavier, Rob and Dana. There are so many people to thank. This project and exhibition couldn't have happened without the support, both financial and in kind. Immense thanks for their core funding to the Charles Sturt Council, Rail Care South Australia and the Australian Association for Environmental Education. Thanks to Bunnings at Woodville, Foodland at Ellie Beach, Mark Gauci from Rosetta Street Greening, who helped prepare the study halls, Karen Janoff from KG Studio Great Art for Kids and Henley and Grange Art Society for free firing of the claywork in the Tree of Life. Many thanks to artist Rachel Scholik, who helped in the early art workshops at Pennington Primary School. Thanks also to the very helpful Minnetonka Library staff, Sunshine in particular, and we encourage everybody to patronise this incredible library and community space. Thanks to the Henley and Grange Historical Society for allowing us use of their display cabinet. Most of all, enormous thanks to the incredible MyTree project team, without whom none of this would have happened. Steve Fuller and Deirdre Knight, with their magic connection with the children, teaching about plants, animals and the environment, and I think Deirdre's here. Thanks, Deirdre. Our amazing administrator, Andrea Rankin, who astonishingly captures and records all our thoughts and actions, keeping us on track. Lara Lamnek, who I pointed out before, artist extraordinaire, whose idea the project stemmed from. She led the early art workshops and assisted in curating this exhibition. And most of all, Gianna Miller, this year's lead artist and curator, who has given days of her time leading the art workshops, guiding and encouraging the students. She spent hours preparing the artworks and signage for display and curating the exhibition. Her input is invaluable. Thanks, Gianna. And I do a bit of everything, leading and coordinating the endeavour. So thank you, everybody. So, what is it about trees and sustainability? Our first speaker will tell us more. Natasha Davis is the outgoing CEO of Trees for Life, where she has been since 2015. She is also a board member of Green Adelaide and the Parks and Wilderness Council. Natasha is passionate about the vital role of nature in supporting a resilient and healthy environment, as well as underpinning our personal and community well-being. She grew up in Adelaide and has worked for nearly 30 years in the environmental sector in South Australia and the ACT in many roles. Natasha is committed to using her skills and networks to create good outcomes for people and our planet.
Congratulations to WACRA and A2E for this fantastic project. Look, it really is a labour of love, bringing this opportunity to students to participate and learn with our hands and hearts about the natural world. I can't think of any more important thing to be working on at this time in our planet's evolution than how we connect with nature, learn about nature, learn how to give back to our planet, and also explore creativity in a way that is truly creative, not just using artificial intelligence and the other tools that we have at our incredible technology, but actually getting back to basics and what it is to be a human, and what we're required to be a human successfully is, to me, very much connected with community, with creativity, and with connection with nature. And if we can get those things right, as well as those fundamental essentials for life, then we're doing pretty well. We somehow seem to forget the basics. We do know, so yes, Trees for Life, as you probably, many of you would have heard of Trees for Life, I'm sure many of you have been volunteers. We exist to restore and create habitat for all those species that rely on trees and understory and having healthy ecosystems. Trees for Life's been in South Australia for nearly 45 years, and it's very important work, and all the environmental groups that are working either at a state scale or at a regional and local community scale, I think are really critical, so get behind environment groups. I was going to ask everyone to just stop and take a breath. It's a big breath, and just breathe in and breathe out, nice slow way. We sometimes forget to be intentional about our breathing. And then say thank you to the trees for being the lungs of our planet. Through this magical process that's called photosynthesis, trees somehow convert sunlight and water and carbon into oxygen and food for themselves. It really is magical, incredible what nature does for us. So we do know trees are essential for life, and Julie's outlined many of those things. Home for wildlife, shade and shelter for people and animals, they cool our cities, they keep our soil healthy and stabilise it, all the magic that goes on underneath our feet because of the roots of the trees. And just being around trees makes us feel better. I think, Lara, your inspiration from your grandson, I certainly enjoy sitting near a tree when I need some inspiration and calm. And our Garda friends speak of red gums, or Garda, as supermarket trees, for all the amazing things, the gifts that are provided from those trees, just one species. All the things, products that can be made from coulombs to canoes and shields, all the medicine, the different foods, the wildlife that lives in there, and of course that spiritual connection, which is so important to people, to our humanity, is to have some connection with something bigger than ourselves. And I was going to share a little bit about what trees represent to me in a bigger, sort of deeper connection, because that's some of the, I guess, inspiration from that artwork as well, and I'll weave a little bit of that in, because I often use the sort of symbol of the tree to think about cycles of life. There's deciduous trees, which obviously aren't native to Australia, but they're very obvious in that sort of cycle of life, and birth and rebirth and then renewal, and then we go through those times when we go quiet and children have to hibernate, and I think there's something really powerful about that. But let me just go through my little story and see if you resonate with any of it, and I'm sure you find your own meanings in some of these. So firstly, the seed. And Trees for Life, when we introduce people that aren't very familiar with native revegetation or the natural world, and they see our seed bank, it's quite incredible to think that out of something so tiny, those of you who've ever seen a red gum seed, it's like a speck, almost like a speck of dust, and out of that tiny thing grows this incredibly large tree that can live for hundreds of years or maybe even thousands. So that possibility and hope that comes from such a tiny thing, and the possibility of life, and the possibility of creativity, and the possibility of so many things. And they remind me of out of little things, big things grow. So that's, I guess, something that a seed brings, and the diversity of seeds that we have too is incredible in our South Australian native species. And they really are just looking at some layout, the colours and the shapes and the textures, incredible diversity and beauty there. Of course, the first thing that a seed does when it starts to spring to life, and I'm not a scientist, so any scientists will critique my use of language, but they put down their roots. And that root structure underneath trees can be phenomenal, often bigger than the actual canopy that we can see. So that reminds us not only the importance of strong foundations, but also that all the important things in life aren't always visible to the eye. There's that little quote from anyone studying Le Petit Prince, The Little Prince, and famous quote from Saint-Exupéry of all that is important is not visible to the eye, or something similar. And it also reminds roots that the need to stay grounded and to connected to the earth, and that sense of we need that stability in order to flourish. The trunk or the trunks, as many of our native eucalypts in particular are multi-stemmed. They speak to me of the strength of diversity. The outer part of our trunks are covered in so many different types of bark, different textures, some are smooth, some are rough, different colours, and some are dark and some are light. So it reminds us that we need all the trees in the forest to have a healthy ecosystem, just like we need diversity in our communities to be healthy and to thrive. The branches represent growth, reaching for the stars, being comfortable on our own journey in whichever twisted or straight shape that goes. And I really loved reading one of the little stories out there about the trees. Someone spoke about the hollows in trees, which are obviously critical for wildlife, and we need old trees, which is why it's devastating when old trees are destroyed to provide those hollows, but it provides room for mistakes. And I thought that was a really lovely reminder that we also need that space to be able to learn and grow and to make mistakes. I love those boab trees out there and all the things they represent, and when we went to the Kimberleys, a family, a few years ago, I did a little photo series with the Kimberleys and representing their grandmother tree, or the, you know, all the different things, their shapes that remind us of, so they're very whimsical. And yeah, congratulations for the students for those incredibly powerful pictures out there in so many different formats as well. And the canopy finally reminds me to see the big picture, to be like the bird or the eagle or the bird that can sit in the tree and look at everything and survey and then swoop down into the detail and grab what it needs, but also to enjoy movement and flow and creativity and think about all that beauty and flourishing. And of course there are flowers and fruits and all the other things that we can talk around the symbolism of trees. So yeah, I guess, you know, I wanted to just try and connect with the feeling of those beautiful artworks. Congratulations for the inspiration you brought. It's fantastic that you've been able to use so many different mediums, and the sense of people being able to connect in their creativity and artwork with sort of being very present with the work as well and using different mediums to explore that. So congratulations to everyone involved in this. It's very beautiful to be able to offer this to the community, and yeah, long may you continue to bring this opportunity to the schools of Western Suburbs. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Julie. Yes, good afternoon everyone. My name is Rob Barley. I am lucky enough to be the principal of Pennington Primary School, and I have 3 fabulous students here today, which I'll introduce to you in a moment. We're here today to share some of our experiences from being involved in the My Trees program. And I hope we all agree trees are fairly important, as we've becoming accustomed to understand, and it really is important for our kids these days. We've participated in My Trees for 3 years now in a variety of different ways, and this year and last year participating in the arts, so extending into that part. Our students enjoy being part of any of the extra activities that they get an opportunity if they're engaging, relevant. We look to make sure it supports citizenship, voice, and connect to their learning, and that's something that the My Trees project does really well. It wouldn't be possible though without support of some amazing volunteers, who many of them are here today. And I do want to take this chance, actually I like to take every chance publicly to thank them, because without them this program wouldn't continue, and they provide such a wonderful opportunity for our students. So Andrea, Julianne, Deirdre's here, I can see Lana at the back, Gian, thank you. Steve's not here today. We've had some other artists who I have not met, but it's really important. Schools need our volunteers from outside areas to come and support us, and we're not the experts in these things. We're the experts, perhaps, we hope, in literacy, numeracy, wellbeing, and a few other things. But the volunteers really bring a really rich resource to us. So again, I want to say thank you for that. Our students have been involved in a few things. We've learned about firewater. That's my favourite. I say it every time. About how important it is about learning how that after a bushfire, the chemicals that release stimulate the seeds. Our students have learned about habitat, cooling, creating oxygen, which we know is important, and about how to take care and look after the environment that they're going to end up looking after for us. We don't force our students to get involved. If you have children, you know it can be difficult to get them involved in things that they don't really like. I was a little worried in the beginning about how many of our students were actually going to be happy to get dirty and get their hands in amongst the soil. I didn't need to worry. Our students really love participating in the My Trees, which you can hear from them in a moment. They look forward to when they see the volunteers coming, whether it be in their art workshops or whether we're propagating. They're really quite excited. They name their trees, they blow kisses to them as they watch them grow, they say hello to them, and they take pride in them. The volunteers have an infectious attitude, and it's spread to our children. They've really enjoyed participating in it. We are here today thanks to our fabulous art teacher, Stana, who's down there, and to particularly Gianna, Lara, Julianne, and a few other volunteers who came and took the inspiration of what we've done in the My Trees project and putting it into art. And it looks amazing. We've had a quick sneak peek. You'll see that there are some great pieces of art. I'm going to ask first Phoenix and Elijah just to come and share a little bit about their My Trees propagation experience, and then Eden's going to tell you a little bit about their experience as well. So let's see if I'm telling the truth.
Hi everyone, my name is Elijah, and I'm a Year 6 from Pennington School, and this is my friend Phoenix. We've been part of the My Trees project for 3 years now. We've been propagating seeds and caring for them and growing them so that they can be transported to areas in need. Some of our plants get planted in our school and some have gone to Maiponga. As part of a regeneration plan, we also grow plants for the local area. I have enjoyed getting my hands dirty, and I think this year I have propagated 15 trees. Sometimes we name our trees. It's a lot of fun, and we learn about the importance of trees and how important they are to making oxygen and being homes for animals.
Hi, my name is Eden, and this is my first year in the My Trees program. I've enjoyed making pamphlets about nesting birds and flowers. Miss Donna, Miss Gianna, and Miss Laura helped me to make my pamphlet. It is filled with drawings that I have created with pencils and written information about the birds and their habitat.
Thanks for having us today. Thanks for allowing us to participate. It's been a wonderful project, and I really would encourage anyone to talk to the local schools about getting involved in the My Trees project. And if you need a referee, I'd be the one. So thank you.
Thank you, Rob, Eden, Felix, and Elijah.
Hello everyone. Last time in visual arts, my class and I participated in an artist in residence program led by Gianna Miller as part of the My Tree project. Throughout the project, we explored the significance and beauty of trees using a range of artistic techniques, including watercolor, sumi ink painting, and gel printing, many of which you can see throughout the exhibition. While we experimented with different materials, much of our focus was on clay sculpting, which allowed us to bring our ideas into more three-dimensional form. share why I'm so proud to be a part of the My Tree project and what this experience has meant to me. Our world and the environment are rapidly changing due to climate change, as can be seen with the recent algae bloom, which is affecting our coastlines. Climate change is real and our community feels it. As a class, we have responded to the threat to our community by creating artworks to show not only what trees mean to us, but the environment as well. Using art to respond to this challenge with creativity and hope. As a class, we took inspiration from Antonio Gaudi and the church Basilica della Sagrada Familia to create creative designs. My sculpture, Blossom and Bloom, was created so that people looking at it feel happiness when they look at my sculpture and reflect on how beautiful the environment is, in particular the beauty of flowers and trees, which when the environment has not been destroyed by climate change. Art has the power to communicate through visuals, colour and form to convey important messages like the need for climate action. Trees are immensely important to the environment as they cool our suburbs, shade us, filter the air and prevent erosion. Our art hopes to share our story. This project isn't just planting trees, it's planting home. I've learned from caring for trees, one tree is caring for the future. I invite you all to join and take part in the My Tree project. Plant a tree, create an artwork, share your voice. Imagine if every kid in every school did this, our world would be greener, cooler and full of art and action. That's the power of the My Tree project. Thank you everyone for your time and thank you again, Gianna.
It's really fun to be here this afternoon to congratulate and celebrate and launch this community engaged exhibition as part of My Tree project. How good are trees? Our teachers and guides and lungs of the planet. It's been really encouraging and making lots of good feelings to learn about this project that builds our connection and relationship to trees and each other. And in thinking about My Tree project, I wondered if the project was a drawing, where would the edges be? Or do the lines of the page come out and continue to meet and swap and exchange like the mycelium on the ground that has symbolic relationships with the tree roots and shares those biochemical messages to neighbouring trees, warning of insect attacks and sharing carbon. So much that we literally can't see that goes on underground. Like the artwork Good Tree in the exhibition, and one of the student statements was, what is underneath that you can't see that keeps the tree standing? Thomas Bee's message in his work helps everyone understand that trees are big houses and that animals share together. And a couple of years ago I made a drawing with similar themes called Tree Hotel, and I love thinking about trees as houses or supermarkets, as other First Nations people describe them. And during that time I did that drawing, I wrote a poem, and I thought I would read that. It's called Gumtree Motel. Nightly bookings tonight, countless rooms and branch residents, tree reservations, dusk lowered, transitions shift, some awaken and stir. Twilight colours glow and drift, nocturnal vision. Which shade of eyes, which spectrum? Whose wings glow pink in black light? The owl, the moth, the possum? Dark follows light, follows dark. Vision swaps for sound, swaps for feels and vibration. Sense the wind, follow that pheromone, kilometres away. Rave reviews at the Gumtree Motel, dawn checkout. I really thought the fun and the strength of the My Tree project to me was a mixture of action and understanding. Sowing seeds in the soil and being invited to think about why and the connections, the local, the belonging, the cyclic and the creation stories of life that are intertwined with the trees. We learn with the trees. And this mix of action and movement and understanding and learning is so good.
I also connected with Rachel's work from Woodville High, who said about her work that it shows the growth of the roots and leaves spiralling around the trunk, showing past experiences and how they shape the way people grow, including the hollow of the tree and a space for mistakes. And another example of this mixture is that students weren't only just invited to draw the tree, but they're invited to draw the patterning of the hawk moth and the flying fox, the pollinators of the tree, and include them in the drawing. So well done everyone involved in the project. Pennington Primary School and Woodville High, and the clients from the day program. And I'd love to declare the exhibition open and leave you with some words from Robin Wall Kimmerer, writer of Braiding Sweetgrass, a poetry, botanist and author, who in her work is informed by Western science and Indigenous environmental knowledge. These words also speak of the mixture of this project I've referred to, the action and the understanding. In some native languages, the term for plants translates to those who take care of us, and to love a place is not enough. We must find ways to heal it.